YouTube, what to the channel. Y'all already know what time it is, man. It's time to get this podcast up and going. And y'all already know what the drill is. Don't like the video yet. Wait until you find a spot that you like the information or you feel like the video was worth the like, and then smash the like button. But before you do all of that considering, just go ahead and subscribe first, because I told y'all from day 1 to day 2 to now day 3, we will be pumping out this content every single day or every other day or at least once a week guaranteed. So go ahead and smash that subscribe button while you're at it. But you already know how we start things off. We like to start off with something hot. And today's something hot, we got the Cavaliers getting their 50th win, clinching home court advantage throughout the first round of the playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, the Cavs have not done this since the LeBron James era. And this is the only time they've done it post LeBron James. The Cavaliers are on an absolute roll right now. They've got all the pieces I think that they need in order to get a championship. Granted, you got the Bucks, you got the Sixers, you got Boston in the East. But when you talk about this Cavaliers team, man, if you don't think that they don't have every piece to the puzzle that they need to at least contend for a championship, I'm not sitting here saying that they're going to go out and win the championship, but they have every tool in the toolbox that you need to go out and win the big game. You've got someone who can be the best player on the floor in Donovan Mitchell. You've got two big, lengthy bigs that are very versatile, that can move the floor, that are great rebounders. You got a guy who should be defensive player of the year, if not top 2, in Evan Mobley. You've got great bench cast in Karis LeVert, Ricky Rubio as a veteran. Lamar Stevens gives you tremendous minutes on the bench. Isaac Okoro is going to be one of the biggest keys to this team because he's our Marcus Smart. He's our 3-and-D guy. He can hit a corner 3, and he can guard your best player. Darius Garland continues to take steps, even though every time I bet on him, he never cashes for me. So I kind of have a love-hate relationship with Darius Garland right now, but that's besides the point. What I'm trying to get at, my coming in hot, I think this team can win a championship. They've got all the tools to the toolbox, man. They can compete with any team any given night. And when they are clicking on all cylinders, like it's the games where Jared Allen's got like 20 and 10, Mobley's got 15, Donovan's got 28, Garland's got 9 assists with 20 points. Like when they're clicking, they can't. I don't think anybody can beat them when they're clicking on all cylinders. And obviously, you can say that about a lot of teams, any team pretty much. But I've watched a handful of Cavalier games this year, and I truly enjoy watching them. They're a fun team to watch. They're fast paced. They move the ball. It's so good to not see like just ISO basketball 24/7. They play completely as a team. Jetty Osman, who doesn't love some Jetty? But we will be doing live streams for the playoffs. The commentary will be back. So make sure you guys are, like I said, subscribed up, because we will be streaming it on YouTube as well. And I think we're actually going to try to do TikTok this time. I figured out how to get the TikTok on the computer, so we're probably going to give that a go as well. But the Cavs coming away with the victory last night. Orlando did cut it down. They did take the lead with like 2 or 3 minutes left, and then we were just too much. Donovan Mitchell goes up for another 43 ball. But I'm ready for the playoffs. I'm ready for the play. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like, when playoffs get here, I get real antsy, and I think this Cavaliers team has a true shot to make a deep run this year. And they're kicking it off with the Knicks. If the playoffs started today, they should get out of this first round. They did just lose to the Knicks. I believe it was last week. But I don't think that should. I don't think that should damper your expectations for what the Cavaliers should do in the first round of the playoffs, especially knowing that they have home court. I believe they're the 4th best team when it comes to home court. I think 4th or 5th. They're somewhere in the top 5 with the best record for home court. So they're gonna have to do their job when the playoffs start knowing that they got the home court, and I expect nothing less. When you got a guy like Donovan Mitchell, it would be different if Darius Garland is going to be our best player going into, or a young Evan Mobley would be our best player. But you've got a bona fide superstar in Donovan Mitchell, and the Cavs or Cleveland fans should be excited for this run coming up. But that's gonna do that. I think that's enough kicking it. That's enough with something hot. I would love for you guys to drop some more Cavalier questions. It's been a lot of Browns questions lately, which is fine. But playoffs are around, so let's get some of those Browns questions or Cavs questions in. Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, TikTok. Drop some comments. Drop some questions in the comments, and you already know we gonna answer them here on the CrocPot podcast. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get into our first question of the day, and it is by Bryce. Bryce asks, do you think the Browns shop for a running back to replace? My bad. What, Nickelodeon. Do you think the Browns shop for a running back to replace Hunt, or do we ride with Chubb and Jerome Ford? And do you think we will even need an RB2 because of the increased passing game from Watson? Good question. I I think I think from what we've seen with Andrew Berry and how he likes to orchestrate his team, the Browns drafted Jerome Ford when we already had Nick Chubb, Kareem Hunt, and Dearness Johnson. Andrew Berry drafted Martin Emerson after we already had Denzel Ward and Greg Newsome. AJ Green, our secondary wasn't something that we was a glaring need, I should say. But he still went out and got him. I think Andrew Berry likes to have insurance policies. I think that he would rather have more than not have more. So do I think they go out and shop someone like, I don't know if you're meaning like a big name or someone that's high up on people's boards. I don't think that they're necessarily shop for something like that. But I do think that they probably get themselves some more insurance. They draft a guy with extremely high upside who maybe would fall in the draft for whatever the reasons may be, and then he's sitting there, and it's like, okay, we'll take him. Maybe there might be a cheap guy on the market. I know a lot of people like McKinnon, from Kansas City. Um, but then again, you still got Hunt on the market. I'm not putting Hunt out of the equation yet. I still think there's a possibility that we could re-sign Hunt, because it is kind of weird that he's not signed yet. So obviously the market isn't that big for Kareem Hunt. So maybe we can find a way to get him back on a decent deal that doesn't require a lot of money. Then again, I don't see how that happens. But I think everyone in this in the building loves some Jerome Ford, so he will probably be our number two when it's all said and done, unless we go ahead and get a guy like McKinnon. But I mean, Jerome Ford showed some explosiveness last season. He showed, granted, it was all in preseason. We know how preseason is. We take it with grains of salt. But what we did see from Jerome Ford in the games that he did play, I don't know. I saw Baby Chubb. It may sound like high praise, but the way he runs the ball, his physicality, he's a downhill runner. Obviously, he can catch passes out of the backfield as well. So you add that dynamic to the Baby Chubb, but he runs like a guy that I would love to have the ball in the backfield. So you got Nick Chubb and you got Jerome Ford. Obviously they will add another piece at running back, but if you're looking for someone to be the number two running back, I don't think that that's necessarily on their needs, especially knowing what type of offense Kevin Stefanski wants to run with Sean Watson being a passing offense. So you don't really need to go out and make a big move into a guy at the running back position when you already have high upside in a guy like Jerome Ford, in my opinion. So I'm going to say, will they shop for him? I'm sure they'll window shop. They'll look around. If something looks nice, if the shoe fits, if the price is right, they'll go ahead and get him on the team. But I don't think that's on their glaring needs of positions that they want to add with the rest of this offseason and the money that they have. So I'm going to say no, they're not going to shop it. They're not going to shop to replace Hunt. I think they already have the replacement in Jerome Ford, but I could see them adding an addition just because that's how Andrew Berry operates. And, the more the merrier, right? The more the merrier. All right. So let's go into our second question. And our second question is by my man Supercharged. My man is always commenting and interacting with the content. So make sure you guys, do the same. Get them questions in. He asks, do you think or who do you think is going to have a breakout this year? Well, if you guys know me. If you guys know me, you guys know which route I think I'm gonna go, or you should know what route I'm gonna go. I'm not gonna go on the offensive side of the ball because I think we all know what we have on the offense. There's not much more breaking out Amari Cooper can do, Nick Chubb can do. Um, David Bell, he could, but I don't think he would be the breakout candidate for me. Ninjoku, we know it, like we know what our offense is. So I'm gonna go on the defensive side of the ball. And I think you should know, like I said, you should know what my answer to this. I'm not gonna go Martin Emerson because I think it's crazy to say he was a rookie last year, but I truly think that was borderline a breakout. Martin Emerson was arguably our best cornerback last year. He was guarding the best players. His physicality, I mean, the man is on pace to being one of the best cornerbacks in my eyes. I don't know. I could just be a homer, but I love me some Martin Emerson. So I'm not going to go to Martin Emerson route. I'm going Grant Delpit. Grant Delpit doesn't have a choice but to break out this year because I think I think Grant Delpit has some of the best potential on this team as a whole. Um, he's shown flashes after flashes, and from being a rookie until last year, I cannot wait to see how much he's progressed going into next year because I believe. Matter of fact, let's pull up his stats real quick. I think he had like 3 interceptions or 4 interceptions this year, if I'm not mistaken. He had 4 picks this year. And he has 5 in his career. So he had a hell of a season last year. 22 tackles, solo tackles, 4 interceptions. Uh, he's got Yeah, I mean, I said a hell of a season. Look, I was hyping. He had a good season. I won't say he had a hell of a season. My bad. I'm hyping it, but I love me some Grant Delpit, and I think adding Juan, um, to the mix, it gives him a veteran that he can learn from. Because if you know me and you listen to the live streams all season, you know I want a veteran to mold Grant Delpit into being a superstar safety that he can be. Because I think that's all he's missing. And I'm excited to see what Jim Schwartz can do. Obviously, we know his secondary isn't his strong suit. It's the line and the front seven. But I think signing the veteran in Thornhill and another year that Grant Delpit is going to have in the Brown system, I just think that it's inevitable that he takes another step next year. And not only are Browns fans talking about Grant Delpit, but I think that the league as a whole will be talking about Grant Delpit. He flies around the ball. He comes downhill like a missile. Not afraid to make tackles. He's not the best in coverage, but again, that's where the growth will come in. If he's better in coverage this year, I mean, there's not much more left for him to break out. That would be his breakout season, in my opinion. So I'm expecting to see that interception total stay around the same, if not maybe a little bit more. I'm expecting tackle for losses, maybe a forced fumble in the mix, because now he's going to be able to play like a hybrid. Like he's going to be coming downhill a lot more now that you got Juan back there that can be the last line of defense. It just opens up so much more uh, usage for Grant Delpit. So I'm expecting Grant Delpit to have a hell of a season this year because they did go out and get someone that he could go out and learn from. And we did upgrade our safety position from John Johnson. So I'm expecting Grant Delpit to be a sponge to Juan and take it in. And I'm hoping, like I said, that Jim Schwartz can get the most out of Grant Delpit because I think you know what you got in Miles Garrett, you know what you got in Denzel Ward, you know what you got in your vets and Tomlinson. So it's like you're not expecting him to go out there and be the best player on defense. But I think he has potential to be a top 3 guy on defense or a top 2 guy on defense. Like Grant Delpit has that potential where you could be like, dang, it's Myles Garrett, Grant Delpit, then Denzel. Or you know what I mean? Like he should be one of those guys that you're naming off when you talk about Myles Garrett, Tomlinson, and Denzel Ward and our premier guys on the defensive side of the ball. So my breakout of the year, it's got to be Grant Delpit. That's the one guy that I'm focused on this year because I do love me some Grant Delpit, and what he showed me last season, I just can't wait to see what he does with a new safety lined up next to him, that can give him some game. Who is a Super Bowl champion? Who is a vet? So that's exciting for me. For our last, is this our last question? I believe this is our last question already. Yeah, because we did that one. We did it. Yeah, this is our last question of the day. Wow, this is a quick episode today. Do you think the Watson contract is worth it? Do I think the contract is worth it? Ask yourself this question. Would you rather be playing Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson twice a year? Or would you rather just be playing Joe Burrow twice a year? I mean, listen, people can talk all they want about us signing Deshaun Watson, paying him $230 million, giving away all of our picks and our capital. Can y'all do me a favor? How about y'all go down the list from 1999 and look at every quarterback that we have drafted and put all that money together and ask yourself, would you rather have Deshaun Watson, a guy who at the time of his peak, which was still young, which is still young, like what was it, second year in the league, as a top 5 guy, arguably being number 2 behind Mahomes that year, I believe? Or would you rather take the prospects in the 20 plus years of quarterbacks that we had and panned out to be absolutely trash and garbage with all that money? So we wasted all that money on 26 to 30 quarterbacks. But as soon as we get a guy with elite talent, all of a sudden now the money is too much and the draft capital is too much and this and that. So that's question number 1. Question number 2, well, I already asked you question number 1, was the Lamar Jackson. So what would you rather, I mean, like, what are we talking about? Like, I'm talking in circles because I hate this question because, and Mason, I'm not mad at the question that you're asking. I'm mad at the fact that, like, this is really a question because people really think that the contract wasn't worth it. And it sucks even more because I hear a lot of Browns fans that think that the contract's not worth it. And it blows my mind because if anyone knows that the contract is worth it, it should be Browns fans. Like, it blows my mind that so many people like to use the off the field stuff for this situation, when in reality, it's like, do you understand what the NFL is as a whole? Do you understand what the business is as a whole? Like, you're mad at the Browns for going out when literally 13 other teams were trying their hardest to get Watson. 4 teams, when it broken down from the 13, were trying their best to get Watson. Yet we just so happen to come out with it. Like, everyone has this this opinion on it, but it's like, you shop at Walmart. You know what I mean? You wear clothing brands that probably have terrible moral ethics, that have probably are not the saints that you think they are. The NFL literally hires murderers and domestic abusers and whatever else you want to say. They give them plethora of chances. Greg Hardy, Tyreek Hill, Ray Lewis, Joe Mixon, Ray Rice, Michael Vick. I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. Ben Roethlisberger, Kellen Winslow. I mean, do you want to keep going? So it's like everyone wants to be mad at the Browns because they're the low-hanging fruit. But in reality, if you're going to be mad at something, be mad at the NFL as a whole. This is the product of the NFL. The NFL allows this. So you can't be mad at the Browns for playing the game that the NFL allows them to be played. Like, it blows my mind that y'all can't distinguish that. And then you support a rape. First off, he didn't rape nobody. Second off, no one said I support what he did. I am a Cleveland Browns fan. I create Cleveland Browns content. So I've been a fan my whole life and have never seen a quarterback with this talent. If you don't know how to separate the two, I'm sorry, you can't do that. But I know how to separate off the field stuff from football stuff. And if I choose to support my Cleveland Browns team, I don't have a choice but to like Deshaun Watson. I don't have a choice but to like the players that they go out and get, because I'm not gonna dislike my team because y'all, the other fans from different fan bases, are mad because like, what? Like, you hear how I can't even put this together because I'm starting to get irritated with it. So I'm just gonna let me just woosah. Yes, I do think the contract was worth it. Lamar Jackson is out of our division. We got an elite quarterback. Now we don't have to worry about that. Someone who can go out and put a team on his back. We have about 4 years at a real shot at a Super Bowl, which I don't think I've ever said that being a Browns fan. So I would take this trade 100 out of 100 times every day of the week. So I mean, we might as well put that question to bed. Um, and I think I kind of rambled on with this question because I have so much to say about this topic, and I think I would do better. I'll save Deshaun Watson talk for a partner. Like, I would love to have other people on to talk about this, because I don't want to say the wrong things and put examples in the wrong places, and I would just feed better with other people, because I do have a lot to say. Like, I haven't talked about the Deshaun Watson stuff a lot. Obviously, we addressed it in live streams when the games are going on and stuff throughout the season, but we never actually got to sit down and fully talk about Deshaun Watson. So no one, only people that have been following me and that keep up with me know my true takes on Deshaun Watson and how I feel about the situation. So maybe, future podcasts before the season starts, we'll get somebody on, and we'll dive deeper into the Deshaun Watson thing. We'll get someone who isn't too fond of the contract, and we'll get their opinion and we'll get their takes and stuff like that. Because I just think that the question is stupid. And the people that think that Deshaun Watson was a bottom tier quarterback last year, it blows my mind. People that think that you look at these quarterback rankings and you see Deshaun Watson at 27, 26. It's just a joke, man. The Browns are the low hanging fruit. Everyone will attack the Browns any chance that they get because it's the easy target. That's why I don't pay attention to it. I don't really listen to it. I don't like to entertain it because it's not worth my energy and my time. But now that we got the podcast going, I think you guys at least deserve to hear my, you get to hear, you at least deserve to hear my take on the whole Deshaun Watson thing. But in regards to my man Mason, yes, I do think the contract was worth it. But I thought this was going to be a quick episode. I mean, this is about the same episode that we've been doing for the first 2 episodes, so we're right around there. Make sure you guys are liked and subscribed. I appreciate you guys for watching the video. If you guys haven't seen the first 2 episodes, go check out those episodes because your question could be answered there as well. And, that's it for today, baby. We'll see you tomorrow. Here we go, Brownies. Here we go. Hoo, hoo.